Hey, yo, it's me. It's me. It's the RAV. I am back. Haven't done the HeelCast in a while now. I am joined with me this week by my main man, Mr. Fantastic himself, the Green Bay Butter Turner. Harold, what's up, homeboy?
What hell of an intro there, Raven. I'm all business tonight. Got a little fire under me, so let's do this HeelCast because lots of stuff to talk about.
So, Rich Swann, I don't know much about this guy. It sounds like he's a big deal. He's going to be debuting for Impact here coming up soon. I think you were pretty big on the guy. Is that right? I know he's Sue Young's husband, too?
Yeah. So he's, for the most part, he's signed. He's going to be at the Windsor tapings. He kind of made a debut. He was at Penta Does Iowa. That was kind of our first interaction with him, but he's a really good worker. He's an X Division style guy. I mean, he was really big on the West Coast before he got signed to WWE, and he did some really good things in WWE. He won the Cruiserweight title pretty quickly. He had a lot of really good matches in NXT. Lo and behold, he gets into a fight with his wife, which, if you don't know by now, is Sue Young. But the charges were all dropped. So, the thing is, it's in America, we are innocent until proven guilty, and he was found innocent. So, I don't think that he should be getting the heat that he's getting, but I'm glad to see that he's, he was, at one point he was kind of thinking of retiring, but luckily he didn't. He stuck with it. So he's going to get a little redemption, no pun intended, in Impact Wrestling. So I'm excited to see how he's used. His gimmick is just kind of like a happy-go-lucky. He dances to kind of like your, I said it last week, Lionel Richie. He came out to Lionel Richie, but...
All night long.
Yes, that song. He came out to that song. I'm sure he did.
That song?
He did come out that. At Penta Does Iowa. He's going to have new music, obviously, when he goes on TV, but... so you kind of get his gimmick. He's a former Cruiserweight champion, had a very short run WWE. WWE fired him right away, or they either released him, or they mutually agreed to leave. I'm not really sure, because maybe he was taking too much heat. But I'm just glad that he's getting a second chance. He deserves it. Everyone deserves a second chance, because people screw up. I've screwed up in the past. Who doesn't? Who hasn't? So I'm glad he's going to be an Impact, and he's going to be facing Austin Aries at the next One Night Only.
I mean, tidbit, the RIB when he was a little kid, man, loved Lionel Richie. My parents would play that shit for me when I was a little kid, and I used to love it. Not that big of a fan of him now, because I don't watch American Idol, and I don't like his daughter, but, love some Lionel Richie. I don't know much about this guy. Sounds like he's got some talent. I'll be interested to see where it goes. So we'll see from there. Hopefully it's a good thing. Now, you brought up WWE, and it's something that just blew my fucking mind. I found out the other day. So, I'm a UFC guy, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think anyone on this show knows that. So, here's the deal. The UFC on Fox, their ratings have kind of been plummeting. And honestly, Dana White, I know he got frustrated at one point with Fox. Not Fox Sports 1 necessarily, but with Fox, the main Fox. And kind of started giving them shittier cards because he didn't feel they were being promoted right. So naturally, the big cards, which are supposed to be on Fox, I mean, the very first one had a heavyweight championship, not only fight, but title change hands. They've disintegrated and went downhill. So the Fox and UFC relationship together has now been terminated. It's done for. ESPN is going to take over some UFC, and I believe Fox Sports 1 staying there. But, dude, Fox. $1 billion to the WWE to bring fucking Monday Night Raw to Fox.
Actually, it was SmackDown, actually. But, yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Okay, so SmackDown to Fox.
Yeah, it was, I believe, a 5-year deal. So I think it's $250 a year. I think that's right.
I mean, let's just be honest, man. Anyone that's hoping for the WWE's downfall, I mean, it's very far from happening now.
Yeah.
And it's sad because all I've heard about from you guys, and I think it is Impact Asylum, and even on my Facebook from a couple people, is this terrible Bobby Lashley skit that was on Raw. Was it Raw?
Yes.
Yeah. Apparently, like, I thought it was Lashley dressed up in a wig at first. Apparently, he didn't dress up that way, did he? Or was he? Did I see a photo of him wearing a fucking wig?
It was 3 independent wrestlers, I believe, from North Carolina that they brought that were supposed to be his sisters. I didn't, believe it or not, I did not see the segment. I've heard it was terrible. I saw the pictures, but I didn't even want to check it out. I would just be depressed that Lashley's not in Impact Wrestling anymore.
Yeah, man, it's like, is that what his kids really wanted him to see? You know, he left, because his kids wanted to see him in the WWE against Brock Lesnar and all that. And, dude, it sounds like they've just made this guy a fucking joke. And it's sad because Bobby Lashley, probably more than any wrestler I've ever seen, has improved leaps and bounds. Like, it's night and day, from when he first started to where he is now. And that's through Impact Wrestling alone. And for me, for like him to go there and be treated that way and just be, brushed aside and made as a joke when, if he's going to leave Impact, I would have seen what he could have done in Bellator, so that's a disappointment. But I saw, like, this screenshot. I think it was on Facebook. Someone took a screenshot from someone from Twitter or something, or maybe it was fucking in the HeelCast chat. It was like, Fox is wondering how they can get a refund on their $1 billion after seeing that Bobby Lashley skit, and it's just like, it cracked me up, man, but I can't even fucking believe that this happened, that they're getting that much money with Raw's ratings plummeting and all that. But you know what this has sparked, and apparently it started with Dave Meltzer, but he's denying it. And all there's a rumor that Impact may get picked up on USA to do Tuesday night because they want 2 wrestling shows.
Yeah. I just want to say that tweet was by the user on Twitter at BCAFC Mark. So that's at BCAFC Mark. That guy, you had a great tweet, by the way. So just want to give you props for that. And, as far as this rumor goes, we have to be very careful because it is Meltzer. And Meltzer is definitely not pro-Impact. He really has never really been. He claims that, oh, yeah, they do good things, but then always hands an underhanded comment to kind of, you can kind of just read someone's tone. And apparently they were kind of, I don't know if they were spitballing or what, but Meltzer basically said on Twitter that he was BSing, I guess, to kind of basically put this story to rest. I'm not sure. It's definitely worth noting, though, but I don't think there's too much to it, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, like, we're not really going to discuss it. If it starts picking up or gives time, then, yeah, we'll talk about it on the show. But I'll just be honest. Impact ratings are not where they need to be considered for USA Network at all. I mean, anyone just really fucking hoping and thinking it's going to happen, it's not. I'm going to shoot that down right now. Even if it did, WWE is their moneymaker for literally that entire network. They're going to shut that down. I don't care if, like, they're showing Impact GFW footage on the Hardy Boys DVD or special or whatever that they're doing, and apparently, like, it's part of this fucking exchange. There was, like, an advertisement for the Global Wrestling Network or something on WWE Network, I heard from someone, and, like, hell freezing over and whatnot, but WWE is not going to allow that shit. They will axe and pull the plug on that. Honestly, I think if anything is going to be picked up by USA Network, it's going to be Ring of Honor because they'll never be competition for WWE. Their brand will never appeal to it, and WWE uses them as their bitch anyways.
Right.
So that's my take on it.
But yeah, I can't even see Ring of Honor getting picked up because they're just not really a good TV product. They're more of a live event product. I don't mean any disrespect to Ring of Honor, but their production is just not where it should be. And Impact is definitely more TV friendly. So I think Impact would actually have an easier time getting onto a bigger station like they did with Spike TV in 2006. But yeah, I digress.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Ring of Honor, they've stayed loyal to their fan base, which Impact didn't throughout the years. They've got a much more loyal following and can do better arena-wise than Impact can by a lot. But they've got New Japan helping them with that. Honestly, Impact's a bigger, more popular brand, and they're still number 3 overall, if you count New Japan. And they're still above Ring of Honor, so I don't expect either to go on there, to be honest with you.
And you're right. And I think like Ring of Honor is more hardcore fans, and they do tour and they buy tickets and they help. They are the driving force behind Ring of Honor. Whereas I think Impact kind of has that old WCW fan base. It was kind of proven when we did the Spike TV demographics, and I think the highest viewers were like 40 to 55. So I think Impact kind of created that void that happened when WCW went out of business. But, I think it's more of a casual fan. I think you could get into Impact a little bit more than you could a Ring of Honor.
Yeah, absolutely. But still speculation now. What's not speculation, though, and Hurls, I'm going to kick to you. Tell me there's 2 extra days added to Toronto and plus a one-night only Zero Fear coming up. I'll let you go on that.
Yeah, June 3rd, there's a one night only that's going to be on the network. It's going to be called Zero Fear. It's the main event, I believe, is going to be, I'm not sure if this is the main event, but I think it's going to be Rich Swann versus Austin Aries. Like I said before, that's going to be a really fun matchup because both of them guys were put in the WWE Cruiserweight 205 Live division, and I don't think they ever had a match while they were there. It was kind of surprising. But we're finally going to see it happen in Impact on Zero Fear, and that's June 3rd in Mississauga. I believe that's Canada. And then Toronto, after Slammiversary, which is July 22nd, they added 2 nights of TV tapings at the same building, the Rebel Complex, I believe it's called. It's going to be July 23rd and July 24th. So there's going to be 2 Impact tapings after Slammiversary.
Yeah, very cool, man. At least we got some venues booked. Interesting to see how things will turn out in Canada. So we're going to move on and review Impact. Sorry we didn't do a show last week. So, Hurls, opening match, man, kind of a huge deal. We got new tag team champions. Scott Steiner messes up, hits Eli Drake instead, and it was Andrew Everett that got the pin on the former world champ, right?
Yes.
That's communication, I think, too.
Yep.
I think that makes Everett look bigger, the fact that he still pinned the champ, regardless of how they made it look with Steiner hitting him. We've got new tag team champions, and a tag team that was just kind of thrown together recently. Went on a hot tear. I feel like the fucking Steiner and Eli Drake thing is probably going to come to an end, which sucks because I feel like there's a lot of money to get out of that and a lot of just possibly the greatest duo of all time, to be honest with you. I just felt like that was money. But and I felt that maybe they should have been the champions longer. Maybe put Z and E against the Cult of Lee a little bit. Kind of have a feud there to start. But very cool to see them become the tag team champions. I'm not griping too much. What do you think about it?
Yeah, I mean when Steiner came out with Eli Drake, I was like, wow, this is money. I mean, these 2 guys, this is a great combination. And then when they won the title at Redemption, I was super pumped. And I'm like, Impact's kind of short on bigger name, guys from the Attitude Era. So Scott Steiner, he filled that void, and he's always entertaining, and you always want to see more. I mean, at least I do. I want to see more Scott Steiner. He's just a guy that I loved watching in WCW, even, his short run in WWF. So, when they won the tag team titles, I thought, maybe this would go on till, at least Slammiversary, but it didn't. And I guess I'm a little worried. I think it would be a mistake if Impact stopped using Scott Steiner. I think he's a hell of a talent. And as far as Everett and DJZ winning, I'm totally fine with that. I just wish it had a little bit more build up. But it's cool that those guys, they were gone for so long that they're finally starting to get a push. So, and it's Andrew Everett's first title win in Impact, so that's kind of cool in itself. But The other thing I want to mention is we all kind of know Eli Drake's contract's coming up soon. It doesn't look good on that front if he's lost both titles. So I hope something changes so Impact can re-sign him. We can only hope, because it would suck to lose Eli Drake.
Yeah, that'd be about as devastating as it gets, to be honest. Like I said, man, I like the roster. I love the product. I've been loyal to it. I'm Austin Aries and Eli Drake away from just being done with Impact, because it's just the only person I can honestly say that I love on the roster still would be Rosemary. And, one person isn't enough to just keep tuning in. So not taking away from everyone else on the roster. There's a lot of people I like, but it's just, you can only lose so much, and I feel like I'm two fucking people I really like away. Eli Drake is fucking money. They need to, this guy and Austin Aries are the two that they need to build the company around. Lucia can throw in there too. But, yeah, and man, as far as Scott Steiner, in WCW towards the end, after Bret Hart retired, I could officially say Scott Steiner was my favorite in WCW, possibly in wrestling at one time. During the NWO, Wolfpack, Attitude Era over in WWF, ECW, still around back in those days. When sorry about my dog snorting there in the back. When TNA released him during the Hogan years, it was 2010, I believe. And, they had their big spat, and Hogan said he still saw money in Scott Steiner. I gawked and laughed at it, like, really, dude, he's old as shit, and watched that. It's what happened with Scott Steiner after all of that, and just becoming that loose cannon talker like Iron Sheik is. It's just you never know what you're going to get when Scott Steiner talks. That's why I want to see him a lot more, Scott Steiner. And I feel like Impact is kind of wasting what they could be doing with him, because they just need to give the guy unleashed and just let him go out there and say what the fuck he wants. I'm serious when I say put the guy on commentary. But
yeah, I'd totally be down for that. He's so unpredictable, and obviously, Father Time's kind of catching up to him in the ring, but there's no reason they can't use him in other ways.
Yeah, you need to do something different in wrestling, and I'd say this a billion fucking times, and I'm going to say it later on in the show too, but I feel like the inner ECW needs to come out and Impact. That whole them versus us against the world mentality. Have that darker edge, be edgier, do the more wild, creative shit. Why not just fucking throw Steiner out there? Who cares? Do something controversial. Get people talking. Make people entertained. Do some non-PG shit that you don't have to worry about. WWE does not need to dictate everything that you put on television. Dare to be different. Cross the line. So we had, was it Tessa Blanchard's debut? Official debut this week? Or was it last week?
Yes. No, in-ring debut. Yes, correct.
So she defeated Kiera Hogan. After the match, Madison Rayne came to the save. I feel like they're kind of acknowledging the Josh Matthews and Madison Rayne thing together. Don Callis is still out, by the way, off TV. I will give Josh Matthews props. It seems like he's been doing a pretty decent job as a solo ring announcer or commentator. I still don't feel he's Joey Styles, but I feel he's done all right. Want to give him props there, but yeah, the Madison thing, it kind of came out of nowhere. I heard she was working in Ring of Honor, which kind of shocked me, but now she's obviously back at Impact. So like we got a Madison Rayne and Tessa Blanchard feud coming up.
Yeah, she was kind of doing the whole Austin Aries free agent thing, kind of going back and forth with Impact and Ring of Honor. And we saw her at the Canada tapings, and she was used at some of the one night onlys. So she hasn't been gone for a long time, but it was very random to see her just kind of show up. But it was definitely interesting. And yeah, Josh did a good job. Out there by himself, having no Don Callis. So I'm kind of happy they didn't put Sanjay Dutt back there, and this kind of leads me to believe that Sanjay Dutt's going to return to the ring sooner than later, which I'm really hoping for because I'm a big fan of his. But yeah, Tessa Blanchard, Impact has given her the ball. They got her great theme music. They've got her good, I don't know if it's her catchphrase on the indies, but she's got a great catchphrase. She's got the look. Now it's her time, and she looks like $1 million. And her debut was fantastic. And I got to give it to Kiera Hogan. She has done a lot better than I thought she was going to do. I didn't really have high expectations for her just because I didn't really see her do work too much. I wasn't sure how Impact was going to use her, but that girl's got a lot of fight in there, and she has done some really good stuff. Even though she hasn't won any of the matches, she's done some really good stuff in the ring. So those two had a solid match.
Didn't she?
Yeah, she did. She did beat LVN. That's right. I think that was her first match, but she hasn't won since. So, yep. But I like her. She's grown on me. I mean, I didn't expect much, and whenever you have low expectations and then they exceed them, I think it's always a good thing.
And I actually don't think there's a knockout on the roster that I'm not a fan of right now. Tessa Blanchard, for the young bucks out there, she's the daughter of Tully Blanchard, Brainbusters, Four Horsemen, the original Four Horsemen. I mean, my Four Horsemen's always going to be Flair and Double A and Benoit and Malenko, but and kind of Brian Pillman in there somewhere. But she has that heritage. She's grown up in the business. Madison Rayne, she hasn't been back for a while, but this is she the second most knockout championship wins in company history?
Yes.
Or?
She's got 5, yes.
So that's a 5-time champion. Madison Rayne, her edge and her, pretty much her entire persona and Impact has kind of faded away, and she's not the big deal that she used to be. I've always been a fan of the girl. I used to even push her when she was with the Beautiful People to get more time, and I thought, Madison Rayne's a fucking beautiful, gorgeous lady. I wish they'd kind of spotlight her a little bit more. She's underrated. But, it's I think only a fool would expect Madison Rayne to go over on Tessa Blanchard. I feel Tessa Blanchard's obviously going to be the right decision there to make. But, it should give her some credibility to get that win over Madison Rayne. If they hype her up and say, she's a 5-time champ and explain that and, kind of build her up as a bigger deal, it should make Tessa Blanchard go a long way on her climb up to probably the Knockouts Championship at some point. Now, we had someone else come to save the day. So we saw a little what is Winter's name now? Is it Katarina?
Yes, Katarina. Yep.
So unfortunately, they put this poor girl with Grado. So we saw the interaction with Jimmy Jacobs and Congo Kong. Her and Grado, it leads to a match where Congo Kong, thank God, gets the pin over Grado. And then Moose shocks the world by having the biggest heel turn I've ever seen when he comes out. Because basically, Grado in, and then they're going to do to Grado what they did to Johnny Impact and, smash his face. And if it's taking Johnny this long, maybe they'll just get rid of Grado completely. Fucking Moose comes out and makes the save. Man, I wish I'd get rid of Grado. Look, man, I'm going to say right person won. Moose, they're building up. Moose and Congo Kong should be pretty decent. It's kind of a bad decision in my opinion because I feel like until Johnny Impact comes back, they need to make Congo Kong look dominant. I don't think Moose is the person that they're going to put him over, nor someone to make him look dominant against. But it is what it is, and we're going to have that match in either 1 or 2 weeks. So, Harold, what's your thoughts on all of this stuff?
Yeah, I think I like it a little bit better. Grado's theme music is very catchy, and I'm going to say that because I was watching Impact with my wife, and my wife stopped and started watching wrestling because of his theme music. So I think Grado's new theme song is going to get him more over than he should be because that song is pretty catchy. But the pairing with Katarina I thought was kind of weird at first, but now that I kind of see where they're going with the storyline, I kind of like it actually, and I think she's going to be a heel eventually. She's not a really great girlfriend, and she just leaves them out there and doesn't try to help them. So I kind of see where this is going. I think she's using Grado for something. I don't know what the angle would be what she's using him for, but
his visa.
That's kind of his what?
His visa. Remember that he got from Jessup Park?
Yes, that's right.
That could be
that's
it.
That's right. That's a possible. Yep, that's a possible angle they could go with it, and I think that's kind of where this is going to go. But I'm a huge fan of Katarina / Winter. I was so excited when she came back. Very attractive woman, and I'm excited to see what they do with her. But as far as Congo Kong goes, I love the fact they've made Congo Kong look really strong. I'm a huge fan of the guy. Not only I interviewed him, and that obviously helped. But even before that, I was a huge fan of him, and I like what they're doing. They're making him look like a monster, like he should be, and then putting Jimmy Jacobs with him was a really good move too. And Jimmy Jacobs is a hell of a wrestler. I mean, he's been wrestling on some of the Twitch shows. He had a really good match against Pentagon, the last Twitch show, which, by the way, if you haven't seen, is a great show. I definitely check that out. But Moose and Congo Kong, that's gonna be a solid. I think they're gonna have some solid matches. Probably gonna go to Slammiversary, but I think that'll be good for both of them.
Yeah, I mean, the whole bad girlfriend gimmick is still better than being the fucking incest gimmick when she was Katie Lee Burchill back in the days. So I mean, to make her look a little bit better than that. Now, Rose, you have this thing on Facebook. Was it the Infinity All Wrestling Discussion or something along those lines, right?
Yes.
So, man, I put a post up the other day, and I mean this by my heart. I hadn't even finished the match when I wrote this. I said, I've been watching wrestling. This is true. I've been watching wrestling since I was about 4 or 5 years old. That's 1988 or 89. I mean, I went back. I've basically seen everything from the Hulkamania era as far as, like, WWF, WCW, ECW. WWF I stopped in about 2011, and I've seen Impact since almost the beginning. Eddie Edwards versus Sami Callihan is literally one of the best feuds I've ever seen in the entire industry. It's new, it's fresh, it's never been done before. It's created this aura and this stigma. This literally has made Sami Callihan this enigma. As he tours and goes around, it's literally made this guy something big, and it's brought out a side and a character in Eddie Edwards that I've literally never seen, and I didn't think was imaginably possible. Eddie Edwards does not look like he had it in him to, do the sadistic thing to really snap. To go into like a full-blown good heel, I mean, some people like Goldberg, Sting, kind of a thing. When they tried to make them heel, it just failed. It just don't work that way. And Eddie Edwards, it seems like would be that same kind of guy, but he's really, I think they're heading to a heel turn. But man, it's just been awesome. And speaking of ECW, I said this actually on that page before I actually even heard. Jesus Christ, Josh Matthews mentioned it during the House of Hardcore match. Was it? This feels Tommy Dreamer versus Raven-like to me, and that's probably my favorite feud in the history of wrestling myself. The one thing about that feud that I love with Raven and Dreamer that I think they should do here is Dreamer never got the fucking win until it was Raven's last night in ECW. I'm not saying that that's necessarily the case here, but I feel like Slammiversary needs to be the blow-off between these two, and I feel like Sami Callihan should get the win every time until Slammiversary. And, just seeing Eddie Edwards, whether it's House of Hardcore or not, seeing Eddie Edwards get that pin on him and still go over, it just kind of took a little bit of the muster away, in my opinion. So, I don't know, Hurls, what did you think?
Yeah, I mean, obviously they showed it on Impact, so, it's part of the Impact record books. I agree with you. I think Sami Callihan has been losing a little too much, like as far as not getting the upper hand. I think Sami Callihan is just he's kind of taking a back seat, and it's more focused on Eddie's obsession with trying to destroy Sami Callihan, and I get it, and I think it's a really cool. I don't know if they're doing a double turn. I have no idea if that's what we're doing, if that's what they're doing. I just know the last time we saw it was Matt Hardy versus EC3. I think that was on the Pop TV debut, or it was close to it. But I agree with you. I think Sami Callihan should have won, and then it should have went to Slammiversary and have Eddie win. That's how I would have done it. But I think, like we talked about this on the last HeelCast, these two are just doing some great work. And the fact that this feud is still fresh, and because it keeps evolving into something different, I think speaks very highly of, I believe Abyss is booking this segment, and I think he's doing a hell of a job.
Yeah, I mean, I think it eventually leads to an Eddie Edwards heel turn. I hope that it does not lead to a Sami Callihan face turn, because I still don't feel like you can turn this guy face. I figure with Eddie, they turn him heel, have him, have a brief feud where he kicks Tommy Dreamer's ass, beats him in the match, and then it goes on to Moose. But, man, this Callahan thing, man, they got to keep the guy looking a little bit stronger. This guy is a fucking draw. Like, there's something big and special about him. Hurls, remember how down I was on Sami Callahan?
Yes.
He didn't.
Yes. Yes, you didn't like how he talked.
Yeah. The guy's completely won me over. I'm all about Sami Callahan and Eddie Edwards right now. Best feud I've seen in forever. Can't get enough of it. They got to push this guy better, and you cannot lose this momentum, this ball. This guy's the closest thing to Brian Pillman since Brian Pillman, you know.
Right.
There's just that fucking enigma and stigma about the guy that I want to see more of. But because they've done this 2 weeks in a row, and I haven't liked it. They've shown 2 matches back to back in a different company. So after that, they go on to show Brian Cage defeat some guy at some I can't remember the name of the venue or company or indie deal or something like that.
The company was Destiny.
Okay, yeah, so Destiny Pro Wrestling or whatever.
Yep.
They have him defeat some guy named Fakeade. I mean, they're showing Brian Cage be dominant, dude, but I don't think they're doing the guy any favors, and I'm kind of losing, I guess, steam and interest in the guy. And for some reason, I don't know if it's just because they pushed him so hard, man, but as much as a fan of Brian Cage as I've been, I haven't been too fucking behind the guy.
I really think the problem was they wanted to do that Bobby Lashley-Brian Cage match, and they wanted to do it so quickly. And they had to because Lashley was leaving, so they're like, oh, man, we want, Lashley to put over Cage. And I totally get that. The problem is they don't have a plan. They didn't really have a plan B. So I think this World Tour, it's kind of similar to Goldberg's push a little bit with the little World Tour, thrown on it to kind of make it a little different. Me and John, I'm sorry, broke the fourth wall there. Me and Impact Dude talked about that last time, and yeah, it's not super entertaining. I mean, the matches are fine, but it's not they could be doing a lot more with that. I think.
Yeah, I almost feel like maybe a heel turn would suit the guy better right now. But we'll see how it goes. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I agree with you. He's gotten some big wins. I mean, he beat Eli Drake too.
Yeah,
at Lucha versus Impact.
Yeah, he destroyed what's his name, EC3 on his way out. There was another big one he had, didn't he?
Yeah. He did. Yep.
So they've shown this guy just destroy everyone. But another thing that I think has been going really good is the Demon Bunny, Su Yung skit. Creative. They did this thing outside of Impact. They did Rosemary's Funeral. Different stuff, but I liked it. I kind of enjoyed the fucking spooky horror goth vibe thing. Kind of always been a fan of that shit. So I like what they're doing. I like that they've written Rosemary off. I think Rosemary versus Su Yung is going to blow the top off the building when they finally get to do it when Rosemary heals up.
Impact, if you're listening, go check out this female wrestler in Japan. Her name is Meho Corone. She's the zombie girl. Very entertaining. Su Yung had a match with her over in Japan, and it was very good. And I think that girl is somebody Impact should look into possibly in the future. I'm not sure, if they're going to sign more Japanese wrestlers, but I think she would be one that would bring a whole new dynamic to the Knockouts roster. So,
Harold, thank you so much for representing the female athletes on the podcast.
Oh, well, you're welcome, Kyle. And I want to say, if you're tired of all the sexism and you're tired of being treated, badly, come over to ImpactAsylum.net. We treat all women fairly, and we'll give you an opportunity to, have an intelligent wrestling conversation.
That's right. We treat our bitches well over there. So let's go to the main event. I'm kind of excited. I'm going to talk this final thing, and then I know Kyle's probably got some stuff. Give him a little bit of an open mic there to wrap up the show. So we have the main event wrap up. The world champion Pentagon Jr. and his tag team partner Phantasma defeated the X Division champion Matt Sydal and the former world champion, so grand champion Austin Aries. We know that we're getting Aries versus Pentagon Jr. at what's the next TV special called?
It is going to be Under Pressure.
That's right, Under Pressure. And
dun, 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 dun.
And then it's Seidel versus Phantasma on that show too, I believe, or is it next week?
I believe that's next week, I believe.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense that they wouldn't do it both on the same show, but I think you're right too. But based on what I'm gonna say, man, it's 4 really talented wrestlers. Nice to see Phantasma. He's the one guy from the other companies I've liked the most and gotten the most behind. Nice to see him pin Seidel, who I kind of feel is a douche in a way. That's all I got to say about it.
No, I thought the main event was solid action. I think the ending was awesome. Seidel doing the shooting star to the super kick from Pentagon. I thought that was really cool. It was a really good tag team match, and like I said, I really like Seidel's heel work lately. I thought he's done a really good job. Austin, as far as Austin Aries goes, I like the fact that he's kind of reverted to a heel, because I think Austin Aries pulls that off even better than a face. But, I'm glad he's got the Grand Championship, because he's still got something. And, I thought it was a pretty good main event. All 4 guys put in a lot of hell of an effort. So, I thought, Impact was pretty, I'd give it a good B-. I don't think it was great, but I thought it did its job. I think there was enough interesting segments.
No doubt. Well, you know what? Am I going to summon up the ghost of Fake Death Kyle? Or did Kyle leave us? I believe Kyle left.
Yeah.
This didn't work out well.
He's done.
Is he?
I think. Yeah, Kyle's out.
All right. Well, I won't be bringing Kyle back then. So that was an odd, funny interruption. Kyle's definitely going to get his chance to respond to the criticism and the shit talking that was brought up on him. And I'll just tell everyone, fasten your seatbelts. This is going to be a fun ride when Kyle gets his chance. But look, man, check out Impact, Under Pressure in 2 weeks. It's been good shows. To me, it hasn't been as great as I expected after Redemption so far, I'll be honest. I've been a little bit disengaged, but I'm still enjoying the show for the most part. Man. Keep checking out the HeelCast. Keep checking out the other Impact Wrestling podcasts out there. Support Impact. Tune in. RAV. The Green Bay Butter Churner Hurls. We're out. Have a great week. We'll see you next week.